Let's study today the positive impact of privatization. All right. So, in another session, we have seen what is the meaning and methods of privatization. And in today's session, we will study what are the positive and the negative impact of privatization. तो हमने देखा प्राइवेटाइजेशन के अलग अलग टाइप्स होते हैं, मेथड्स होते हैं. एक तो आप पूरी तरीके से जो गवर्नमेंटल अंडरटेकिंग है, गवर्नमेंट की कंपनी है, वो प्राइवेट सेक्टर को बेच देते हो, या उसमें के थोड़े बहुत शेयर्स जो है वो प्राइवेट सेक्टर को बेच देते हो, या मैनेजमेंट प्राइवेट सेक्टर के हाथ में दे देते हो, या देर आर डिफरेंट वेज थ्रू विच यू कैन प्राइवेटाइज अ गवर्नमेंट कंपनी. तो ऑब्वियसली विद रिस्पेक्ट टू, अगर आप ह्यूमन राइट्स देखेंगे, अगर आप दूसरे पर्सपेक्टिव से देखेंगे, सोशियो इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट देखेंगे, अगेन पर्टिकुलरली विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ह्यूमन राइट्स, तो पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट दोनों है. सो फर्स्ट विल डिस्कस द गुड थिंग्स अबाउट प्राइवेटाइजेशन. So with respect to performance, the state-run industry, that is the government companies, tend to be bureaucratic. A political government may only be motivated to improve a function when its poor performance becomes politically sensitive. Okay, so normally what happens in a situation where a particular government company is not performing properly, in those situations, obviously there is a lot of criticism by the media that this particular organization is a cause of poor performance leading to losses for the government. So it is better that you privatize that particular government company so that the performance will improve. The best example is Air India, where it was not sustainable, where it was causing a lot of losses for the government, and that's why they are planning it to sell it to the private sector. So obviously, when you privatize any particular state government company or central government company, its performance definitely improves, because the ultimate motive of privatization is to improve the performance and improve the profit margins. Second is obviously it is increased efficiencies, because private companies and firms have a greater incentive to produce goods and services more efficiently to increase profits. Private companies are always trying to reduce the cost of production. Always they are trying to have a situation where they will try to reduce the raw material, they will try to reduce the electricity bill, they will try to have less number of people functioning and with more efficiency. They are going to make less number of people to work for a longer duration of time. So that is a big difference. When you see sometimes the public sector is under pressure to provide employment, that's why sometimes a lot of more people are employed in a government company than required. And that's why overall there is lack of motivation, there is no there is job security when it comes to government sector, but when it comes to private company, they need efficiency. If the employee is not efficient, that employee will be removed. Then obviously specialization, a private business has the ability to focus all relevant human and financial resources onto a specific function. Okay, they are not thinking about public welfare, they are not thinking about what will happen in certain situations if the prices go up, go down, whether we have to provide subsidy, whether we have to take care of the the marginalized sections of the society. Their concentration is completely very much specific, that they need efficiency, they need effectiveness, they need profits. For that, they will channelize all the relevant human and financial resources in such a way that they are going to get more and more profit. A state owned firm does not have the necessary resources to specialize its goods and services as a result of the general products provided to the government to the greatest number of people in the population. See, government is involved in producing a lot of different products. So whether it is electricity generation, whether it is water supply, sanitation, education, health sector, so there are number of different factors providing food. So state is involved in providing number of different goods and services to the people. But when I'm talking about private sector, their company is very much specific to that particular function. For example, Tata Consultancy Services is specific in providing software solutions. In the same situations, if the Tata Motors is specialized in providing automobile companies. Similarly, Tata is involved in tourism. Tata is involved now. They are going to take over Air India, so they are going to provide flights. So definitely, they are involved in different ventures. And when a particular venture is created for it, specialized human resources and financial resources are applied so that they're able to concentrate on that particular function only. Okay, private sector doesn't have to care about the essential services. It is only concerned with respect to the functions for from which they will get profits. Then obviously there will be improvements. Okay, government may put off improvements due to political sensitivity and special interests, because government has to take care of the political interest as well. There are a lot of different factors which are responsible for making a decision when it's a government. But for a private sector, they don't care, think about political sensitivities, they don't think about political interest, they don't think about elections and voter bank and all that kind of thing. They only think about profits. So whenever it is run by a private sector, their main concentration levels will be the customers. Whatever the customer requires, accordingly the private sector will make the improvements in their products. Simple. For a mobile हो गया, laptop हो गया, आपका computer हो गया. If suppose there are feedback given by the customers that this particular change needs to be there in your goods or services, the private sector will accordingly make changes. Otherwise, they will not survive in the market. अगर market में survive करना है, then you have to make changes in your products, in your goods and services. Otherwise, customers will not be satisfied with your services and products, and they will not buy it. So naturally, they have to make improvements. For government, actually it doesn't matter that much. Yes, there will be reduced number of corruption. Yeah, again, when we say about a state monopolized function is prone to corruption, because it's a bureaucratic way of functioning. So yes, it is. When we say about corruption, yes, so decisions are made primarily for political reasons, personal gains of the decision maker, rather than economic ones. So when I'm talking about corruption in a state-run corporation affects the ongoing asset stream and company performance, whether it is 2G spectrum scandal, whether it is Colgate scandal, whether it is Commonwealth scandal, you see a lot of times there are a lot of corruption. It's not that in private sector there is no corruption, but their corruption is with respect to profit, not with respect to political reasons. Okay. So whereas any corruption that may occur during the privatization process is a one-time event. So normally, whenever the government, whenever they are trying to sell the government company's asset to a private sector, there also corruption can take place, which happened in 2G spectrum scandal, where they had preferred certain companies giving less money to the government rather than those companies who were ready to pay more money for 2G spectrum, leading to more losses to the government. So naturally now there will be national monetization policy. Now, which private company will take over? Which private company's tender will be passed? Which private contractor will get the project? All these factors come in where corruption is there, because the person who bribes the more, that person will get the project. And then obviously it's a one-time event, but later on, as the company is privatized, naturally there will be more concentration on the performance rather than corruption. When it's a private sector, if there is no efficiency, obviously the corrupt personals will be kicked out first. And there is accountability. So private companies held their managers accountable to their customers, to their shareholders, to the owners. And if you are not performing well, the managers will be kicked out from the company. They can only thrive if they are able to provide and are answerable, and they're able to provide the expected quality of products and goods to the stakeholders, owners, and the consumers. Otherwise, the managers won't survive. The similarly doesn't apply to the public sector. Public sector में ऐसा कुछ नहीं कि the IS or the IPS officer or the IRS officer will be removed from his service. Maximum what can happen is he might be transferred. But in a private sector, obviously the manager is not the manager is not kept in the company at all. Managers of publicly owned companies are required to be more accountable to the broader community and to the political stakeholders. Okay, this can reduce their ability to directly and specifically serve the needs of their customers, and can bias investment decisions away from other profitable areas. So normally, when a manager which is of a public owned company, a government company, that managers has to keep the political bosses happy. He has to take care of the ministers who is the head of the department. He has to keep other bureaucrats happy. So a lot of times his decisions are populist in nature. A lot of times he has to think about the political pressures. So that's why he is not able to think rationally when it comes to profit. He will take certain decisions which might run the company into losses also. So a lot of oil companies which are there, they're running into losses because they have to subsidize the petrol so that the people are able to afford the petrol. But now the subsidies have been reduced, they have been removed practically. That's why the prices of the petrol have gone high. And again, the people are shouting, people are criticizing that the prices are increasing. That's why overall inflation is increasing in India. But in comparison to that, other aspects, the salaries and the income of the people are not increasing. So obviously, when it comes to the politically motivated decisions, the government company has to think about a lot of factors which a private owned company does not have to think. Their ultimate objective is to be accountable only to the consumers and the stakeholders of their company. Civil liberty concerns: a company controlled by the state may have access to information or assets which may be used against descendants or any individuals who disagree with their policies. So naturally, when a particular company, a government company, it has more access in comparison to the private sector. So when it comes to right to information, the government-owned company will fall under that particular law. But when it comes to private companies, it will not fall under right to information. So a lot of times the state-owned company is working in a conspirational manner. Okay, so public can actually go against the policies of a government company. Okay, but it doesn't happen in private companies. So when it comes to human rights, if suppose the company is government owned, naturally that the government owned company has to think about the people at large. They have to think with respect to their decisions. They can't run behind profit because their orientation is with respect to public welfare. So they can't run behind the public profits. दे आर मोर कंसर्न कि भाई जो गरीब आदमी है उसको जॉब मिल रही है, उसका पॉवर्टी एलिवेशन हो रहा है, उसको दो वक्त का खाना मिल रहा है. That is the main concern, and it falls under Right to Information Act. Okay, so when it comes to information law, yes, yeah, it is good if it's a government company. Otherwise, in the private sector, they are not answerable to the public in general. So when it comes to goals, a political government tends to run an industry or company for political goals rather than economic ones. So a lot of times what happens, those people who are running a government company, they will make a lot of populist decisions which will lead to the industry or company to run in losses. उनको नुकसान that is the main reason why in the 70s and the 80s the government was almost bankrupt. The reason for that was during elections, the government used to make a lot of decisions which favored the what people wanted, leading to more and more losses to the companies. Another very good example I can give is that whenever you are giving loans to farmers, so if the monsoon fails, if the crop fails, then there is loan waivers that the farmers don't need to repay the loans. So what happens in this situation? Yes, it is good for the farmers. It is very good for the farmers. Farmers are happy whether you are in losses or you are not in losses, because loan waiver is done for all the farmers. But the problem happens with the banks. Banks non-performing assets increase. Banks start to run into losses. The impact of the bank's business gets hampered. So here in this situation, what happens is the bank managers will be very scared to give loans for the farmers next time, because every time, most of the time, every year, and if it's during elections, then more often than not, the political parties will say, in power, will say loan waiver for the farmers, so that they think that the farmers will vote them again in power. So it's a populist decision. Okay, it's good, yeah, you need to do that, because but here you have to do a proper demarcation. Actually, which farmers need that waiver? Not all farmers need that, but they apply to everybody. Again, PM Kisan Yojana, where every farmer, gets 6,000 rupees in their bank account, by the government. So does every farmer require that? You should be able to demarcate the rich farmers and the middle class farmers and the poor farmers. So poor farmers need it more, but you are giving it to everybody. So everybody is happy. So everybody will vote them again in power. So that is a little, when it comes to profit margins, or when it comes to the government functioning, there is inefficiency and there will be ineffectiveness. When it comes to come to capital, when it comes to privately held companies, sometimes it's easy for them to raise investment capital in the financial market when such local market exists and are suitably liquid. So normally for a private sector company, if it's a Reliance, Tata, Birla, or if it is Cred, Dream 11, An Academy, for them it might be a little easy to raise investment capital in the market if the market is obviously suitable. While interest rates for private companies are often high than for government debt, this can serve as a useful constraint to promote efficient investment by private companies, instead of cross subsidizing them with the overall credit risk of the country. Investment decisions are then governed by market interest rates. State owned industries have to compete with demands from other government departments and special interest. In either case, for smaller market, political risk may add substantially to the cost of capital. So, normally for a state owned company, they have to take into a lot of consideration. And even if, suppose, in the market, the demand is not there, still the government has to produce those goods. Even if the market, the demand is there, it has to keep the prices low. Even if it is required that the particular product needs to be expensive, but still it is subsidized. प्राइवेट सेक्टर हैव नथिंग टू डू विद दैट. प्राइवेट सेक्टर को सब्सिडाइज करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, बट स्टेट ओन्ड कंपनीज हैव टू डू दैट एंड बेयर द लॉसेस. They have to bear the losses. It's good when it comes to the empowerment of the poor people, because poor people are not should be getting access to LPG gas. They should get access to electricity. They should get access to petrol and diesel and all those kind of stuff, but at a reasonable price, specifically food, under the different schemes where, under the PDS system, public distribution system, they're getting food at a very cheap rate. So government has to take care of all those losses. But when it comes to private sector, no, their more concentration is on efficiency of, and whether the investment are going to bring about profits or not in the future. So they only care about that aspect. They don't care about whether the marginalized sections of the society are getting their due or not. Security, so yeah, obviously, when it comes to government investments, the security is much better. But when it comes to private sector, you might run into losses. So government have the tendency to bail out poorly run businesses. They do take over banks which are not functioning properly. They do take over some companies, private sector companies, where they are not running properly. So because if that company closes down, if that banks closes down, it will lead to a lot of losses to the customers, and the people will lose their jobs. Okay, so it's better to let the business fold in into the government sector, so government will take over. So government, because of its orientation towards welfare, it will try to protect poorly run businesses. But what's the problem, what is happening is the government self companies, खुद की जो companies है वही losses में run हो रही है. That's why government, when it comes to government, it is always safe, we say, to invest in government securities rather than to invest in private sector, because the risk factor in the private sector is much more, because the private sector will not bail you out if you are running into losses, if your business is suffering. The lack of market discipline, yes, poorly managed state companies are insulated from the same discipline as private companies, which could go bankrupt, have their management removed, or to be taken over by competitors. Private companies are also able to take greater risks and then seek bankruptcy protection against creditors if those risks turn sour. Okay, so if everything is controlled by a private company, that is also not good in a sense. There has to be a balance between the whether the government is also coming in between. If suppose the market is absolutely absurd and there is no discipline in the market, there is a lot of speculation. So private companies are a lot more greater risk when it comes to bankruptcy. Okay, so if suppose there is an economic recession, private sector companies will first close down. If you see during the lockdown, if the private companies or the private hotels, the private businesses, they shut down. Private gyms, everything shut down. But when it comes to government, they are still running, because government has to take care of the essential services. Government can't just shut down their petrol pumps. They just can't shut down their CNG pumps. They can't say that, okay, we cannot generate electricity, even though in the middle there was no coal available in India, because a lot of times the coal mines were closed. So obviously, again, because of corona, because of lockdown, there were no mining activities in the coal mines. Now again, they have to import a lot of coal from outside, even though it was more expensive. We have to run into losses, but still we have to do it, because electricity is the blood for any economy. अगर electricity नहीं होगी तो economy आपकी बंद पड़ जाएगी. Natural monopolies, the existence of natural monopolies does not mean that these sectors must be state owned. Not naturally, ऐसी जरूरी नहीं है कि वो government की monopoly होगी. Sometimes private sector can have the monopoly over a particular product. Governments can enact or are armed with antitrust legislations and bodies to deal with anti-competitive behavior of all companies, public or private. So obviously, in any government or in any country, if there are some monopolies, the government has certain laws, such as the Competition Act of India, where if suppose there is any monopoly by a particular company, whether public or private, they can actually make that monopoly go away by passing certain orders under the law. Again, concentration of wealth, if I want to say, normally what happens if you're going for privatization, the concentration of wealth will always go to the wealthy. The rich will become richer and the poor will become poorer. So that's why a lot of time the government tries to bring about equal distribution of wealth in the society by, by applying socialist principles, specifically in countries like India, Soviet Union, where it is Soviet Union was communist, Russia is communist, Cuba is a communist country, China is a communist country. So they try to have this dispersed and diversified distribution of wealth, so that everybody is getting some pie, some piece of the pie. So they try to create jobs, they try to create money, so that people are able to invest in different business ventures. So public sector is always concerned with respect to the protection of human rights. Private sector is not concerned that much when I'm saying about that. So obviously, when I'm talking about political influence, again, the government companies are more prone to getting affected by politicians and their political influence and the populist reasons. कई बार वो ऐसे decisions लेते हैं जिसके वजह से कंपनी को losses होते हैं. Example include making an industry buy supplies from local producers. Okay, when that may be more expensive than buying from abroad, forcing an industry to freeze its prices, fares to satisfy the electorate or control inflation, increasing its staffing to reduce unemployment, or moving its operations to marginal constituencies. तो कई बार the state-owned company will invest in certain areas where there is no demand, where there is no infrastructure development, where there is no electricity, but still the government will go and invest there because they want to bring about regional development, even development of all the regions of the country. Private sector will only invest where there is ready-made infrastructure. Okay, if you see metro, it's in Pune, monorail is in Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai. You might not see metro in northeastern region. You might not see in certain areas where there is no infrastructure, where there is no demand. वहां पे प्राइवेट सेक्टर बिल्कुल इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेगा, बट द गवर्नमेंट हैज टू इन्वेस्ट इन सर्टेन एरियाज. दैट्स व्हाई BSNL is available in each and every area of India, even though weak signal, but it is there. But I cannot say the same with respect to the private internet providers. If I'm talking with respect to profits, corporations exist to generate profits to their stakeholders. Private companies make a profit by enticing consumers to buy their products in preference to their competitors, by increasing primary demand of their products, reducing cost. Private corporations typically profit more if motive if they serve the needs of their clients well. Corporations of different sizes may target different market niche in order to focus on marginal groups and satisfy their demand. A company with good corporate governance will therefore be incentivized to meet the needs of its customers efficiently. ठीक है, तो obviously जब private sector होता है, it has different techniques की they will have some offers, they will provide some uh, they will lower their prices, they will make in with respect to their competitors, they will try to provide more better quality in lesser price, so that they will try to capture more and more market. So naturally the private corporations, the motive is only and only profit, and that's why when it comes to human rights, sometimes it does violate the human rights of the poor sections of the society, because private sector do not care about the poor. Job gains, yes. See, obviously it's not bad if it's more and more profits are there, their business is expanding. Naturally, they will pay more taxes, they'll generate more jobs, and the jobs will have better salaries. As the profit margin increases, they will invest more, they will expand. So it's not that it is bad. So it will create jobs, but the issue is the jobs will be only created for the ones who are skilled, not for the semi-skilled or those people who are not at all educated. So it's better that if it is privatized, if the profit margin increases, if the GDP increases, it will lead to more job creations, it will lead to paying of more taxes, and naturally the economy will grow and better jobs will be generated with a better payment, better salary. So it is always good. बट चलो पॉजिटिव तो बात कर ली भाई, अभी थोड़ा नेगेटिव बात कर लेते हैं भैया, इससे प्राइवेटाइजेशन से होता क्या है. Now, performance again, a democratically elected government is accountable to the people, and the private sector is not accountable to the people. They have nothing to say. As I've told you, they do not fall under the lot of laws. Parliament cannot ask questions to the private sector unless the money which is invested in that particular company is of the taxpayers. Okay, so the when it's a government company, their performance is answerable in the parliament. But it's a private company, they are not answerable anywhere. Okay, profit motive is always subordinated to social objectives. More important is equality, justice, liberty, fraternity, and overall welfare of the society, rather than money, money, money. Okay, so that is the negative thing of privatization, that they are not accountable to the parliament, which, if suppose their actions or their policies lead to human right violations, they might be taken to court, but they are not answerable in the parliament. When it comes to improvement, the government is motivated to performance improvement as well as run business contributes to the state's revenue. अगर गवर्नमेंट कंपनी का भी फायदा होता है, जो होता है कई बार, तो कई बार जैसे रेलवेज हो गया, स्टेट ट्रांसपोर्ट हो गया, लॉट ऑफ स्टेट रन कॉर्पोरेशंस आर देयर हु आर वर्किंग efficiently. So it leads to more wealth to the government, and if the government gets more wealth, naturally they will invest for the welfare of the poor people. Private sector won't do that. Private sector में पैसा भी कमा लिया, but they will invest in more ventures, more business, more money. They will not invest for the welfare of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, nomadic tribe and socially and economically backward classes. उनमें वो invest नहीं करेंगे, वो business में invest करेंगे. Corruption. See, if a official is found corrupt, then there are laws to make him punished. Okay, जैसे राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन एक्ट है, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ करप्शन एक्ट है, लोकपाल है, सीबीआई है, सेंट्रल विजिलेंस कमीशन है. So there are a lot of factors through which a civil servant can be made accountable. If there is lack of transparency, if there is no accountability, they can be held accountable, they can be punished. But it is very difficult in private sector. प्राइवेट सेक्टर में ये मुश्किल हो जाता है. ओके, वेन एवर द सिविल सर्वेंट इज गेनिंग पर्सनली, देर इज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, दैट ऑफिशियल विल बी सस्पेंडेड, विल बी डिसमिस्ड. Well, same thing might not be applicable in private sector. In public sector, there is code of rules, code of conduct, code of ethics. There are laws, there are rules and regulations where a civil servant is expected to behave in a particular manner with integrity, compassion, empathy, with tolerance. But does the same thing doesn't apply to the private sector? Yes, accountability, again the same thing. The private sector is not accountable all the time. They are not answerable to the parliament, to the public, but they're only answerable to their stakeholders. That's it. They are not answerable to anybody else. So here, if some people's human rights are violated and they come and they ask why this is happening, they are not answerable. They are only going to work for their profits. Again, civil liberty concerns, a democratically elected government is accountable to the people through a parliament and can intervene when civil liberties are threatened. So, whenever a government company is leading to human rights violations, the government can stop the functioning of the company. But the same thing does not apply to private sector. Private sector will not stop. Suppose they want to cut forest, they will keep cutting forest for their profits. But the government sector, if they come to know that if you cut the forest, the local people's habitation will be destroyed, they will get displaced, they will not get rehabilitated, their human rights are getting violated. That's why if you see the Chipko movement was a very good example where the woman of that particular area tried to protect the trees from deforestation. So the government ordered to stop the deforestation. Okay, whether the same thing will happen with private sector. So the government does intervene whenever a civil liberty concerns are there. Private sector will not intervene. So when it comes to goals, the government may seek to use state companies as instruments to further socialization goals for the benefits of a nation as a whole. तो हमेशा एक स्टेट ओन्ड कंपनी ओवरऑल देश का सोचती है, ओवरऑल गोल का सोचती है कि देश की प्रगति किस डायरेक्शन में होनी चाहिए, एंड देन दे टेक द डिसीजंस. Private sector only sees whether their company is moving in the right direction, whether their company is becoming a multinational corporation, whether their company is spreading into different countries. They are more concerned about the company rather than the country. But a state company or the government company is more concerned about the nation as a whole also, which is a very big difference. Naturally, when you think about the whole country, then obviously the human right protection will be one of the factors which will be taken into consideration by the government. Private sector will not consider this aspect. Their only aspect is profit. And capital, government can also raise money from the financial capital mostly cheaply. They can, although this preferential access to capital market risks undermining financial discipline because of the assurance of a bailout from the government. So government, जैसे मैंने बोला, हमेशा bail out करेगा अगर आपका business loss में जा रहा है. If a government company or even a private sector company is running into losses which might lead to a lot of loss to the people, they will try to bail it out so that सभी लोगों को बहुत ज्यादा नुकसान ना हो. Cuts in essential services. देखिए, गवर्नमेंट ओन कंपनी प्रोवाइडिंग एसेंशियल सर्विसेज टू द सिटीजन्स is privatized, its new owners could lead to the abandoning of the social obligation. अगर आपने essential services को प्राइवेटाइज कर दिया, there is a very high probability that the private sector won't care about the social obligations. They will not care about human rights. Because government is providing essential services at a very reasonable price to the people. But अगर वो प्राइवेट सेक्टर के पास चला गया, तो it is not necessary, it is not guaranteed that the private sector will provide at the same rate. Prices बढ़ सकते हैं. It can lead to problem. People will not be able to use those essential services. आप प्राइवेट कॉलेजेस और पब्लिक कॉलेजेस, गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज में फर्क पड़ जाएगा, आपको फीस को पता चल जाएगा। अगर आप मेरिट में जाते हैं, अगर आपकी कोई पर्टिकुलर कास्ट है, तो आपका फीस बहुत कम होता है। बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू प्राइवेट सेक्टर, इट इज नॉट द थिंग। उनको उनको सिर्फ अपनी फीस से लेना देना होता है। बाकी बच्चों क्या पढ़ रहे हैं, उनकी क्या फाइनेंशियल सिचुएशन है, दे डोंट केयर अबाउट दैट। अगेन, नेचुरल मोनोपोलीज प्राइवेटाइजेशन विल नॉट रिजल्ट इन ट्रू कंपटीशन इफ अ नेचुरल मोनोपोली एग्जिस्ट। तो ये तो हमने तो पढ़ा है कि नेचुरल मोनोपोली होगी तो उसको गवर्नमेंट हटा देगी। Again, yes, concentration of wealth, when it everything, if it is privatized, it will be concentrated in the hands of few people, only private people. But when it's in the hand of the government, then the government will see to that poverty is elevated, employments are generated. They're trying to distribute the wealth in equal amounts in all the sections of the society. Political influence, yes, government is having more impact. उसके ऊपर ज़्यादा pressure होता है for implementing government policy. And that's why it is accountable. That's why they have to maintain transparency. And private company will always try to maximize profit, sometimes disregarding human rights. कभी कभी human right violations भी उनसे हो जाते हैं, चाहे वो कोको कोला की कंपनी हो, चाहे वो मैगी हो, चाहे वो फेयर एंड लवली हो, उनसे हो सकता है। Again, privatization and property, it is acknowledged by many studies that there are winners and losers with privatization. The numbers of losers, which may add up to the size and severity of poverty, can be unexpectedly large if the method and the process of privatization and how it is implemented are seriously flawed. ठीक है, if there is lack of transparency leading to state-owned assets being appropriated at minuscule amounts by those with political connections, अगर आपने गवर्नमेंट कंपनी बहुत सस्ते में किसी को बेच दी सिर्फ आपके करप्शन के लिए, खुद के गेन के लिए, उससे गवर्नमेंट को बहुत सारे लॉस हो सकते हैं, जिसके वजह से पावर्टी बढ़ सकती है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट कम हो सकता है। ओके, एब्सेंस ऑफ रेगुलेटरी इंस्टीट्यूशंस कैन लीड टू मोर प्रॉब्लम। हमारे पास है, वी हैव कंट्रोल ऑडिटर जनरल, वी हैव सीबीआई, वी हैव लोकपाल। तो इट्स अ गुड थिंग, इन अ डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री लाइक इंडिया वी हैव दिस मैकेनिज्म्स, बट अगेन इम्प्लीमेंटेशन इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम। तो इसको सही तरीके से इम्प्लीमेंट करना बहुत जरूरी है। It can lead to transfer of monopoly rents from public to private sector. Improper design and inadequate control of the privatization process leads to asset stripping. जैसे 2G का हुआ, Colgate scam हुआ, 2G Spectrum is the best example where the government assets were sold at a very cheap rate. That's why the Supreme Court of India said ये सब कैंसिल कर दो और ऑक्शन करो सबके आगे, ट्रांसपेरेंसी मेंटेन करके कि देखो कितने, और ऑब्वियसली गवर्नमेंट अचीव्ड अ लॉट ऑफ मनी थ्रू ऑक्शन। और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये कहा कि इसके आगे ओपनली ऑक्शन होगा। जैसे इमेजिन कि आईपीएल जो है, आप अगर फॉलो करते हैं इंडियन प्रीमियर लीग, उसमें जो प्लेयर्स हैं वो हमें पता ही नहीं कि कौन कितने में प्राइस में लिया जा रहा है, कैसे ये प्लेयर इस कंपनी में गया। अगर इंटरनली पता ही नहीं चलता, अगर, तो कितना करप्शन होता आप इमेजिन कर सकते हो। जी हाँ, जॉब लॉसेस होते हैं। आप जब प्राइवेट कंपनीज को, जब आप गवर्नमेंट एसेट्स देते हो, मैंने आपको दूरदर्शन का भी एग्जांपल दिया था कि लॉट ऑफ सम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स और सम ऑफ द पीपल केम टू मी कि वी वांट टू प्रिपेयर फॉर सिविल सर्विसेज बिकॉज वी हैव गिवन द नोटिस दैट आपका अभी नौकरी की आपको निकाल रहे हैं, बिकॉज द मैनेजमेंट इज गिवन टू द प्राइवेट सेक्टर, प्राइवेट कंपनी। तो प्राइवेट, जैसे मैंने बोला, कम से कम लोगों में वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा काम करवाएंगी। इसके लिए जो एक्स्ट्रा लोग होंगे उनको जॉब से निकाल देंगे। पर ये गवर्नमेंट नहीं करती। गवर्नमेंट का ओरिएंटेशन होता है एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन, तो गवर्नमेंट नॉर्मली रिक्वायरमेंट से ज्यादा लोगों को ही हायर करती है। यस, रिड्यूस्ड वेजेस एंड बेनिफिट्स, 2014 के रिपोर्ट के अनुसार, in the public interest, a resource center on privatization argues that outsourcing public services sets off a downward spiral in which reduced worker wages and benefits can hurt the local economy and overall stability of middle and working class communities. तो कई बार प्राइवेट सेक्टर वेजेस कम कर देती है, सोशल बेनिफिट्स जो मिलते हैं, इंश्योरेंस, एक्सीडेंट, मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस, एक्सीडेंटल इंश्योरेंस, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, ये देंगी नहीं कई बार, स्पेसिफिकली इन द नॉन ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर। तो वहां पे बहुत ज्यादा एक्सप्लॉइटेशन होने के चांसेस है, आपके लेबर राइट्स वॉयलेट होने के चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं। Sometimes inferior quality products might also be produced. A private for-profit company might cut corners on providing quality goods and services in order to maximize profits. कभी-कभी ऐसा प्राइवेट सेक्टर कर सकता है, प्रॉफिट्स बढ़ाने के लिए वो क्वालिटी कम भी कर सकता है। So these were the positives and the negative impact of privatization on Indian society in general, or in society in general, and to be more specific, human right कनेक्शन। क्योंकि अगर आप बहुत ज़्यादा प्राइवेटाइजेशन करोगे विदाउट प्रॉपर रेगुलेशन, देन human right violations will definitely increase, economic disparities will increase, exploitation will increase, and lot of labor rights will be violated by the private sector. ये private sector इसीलिए जाना जाता है, they are not that much concerned with respect to social obligations. They are only and only concerned with respect to profit. Very few private sector companies such as Tatas and Birlas are there who are having the responsibility, the sense of responsibility towards society. लेकिन maximum are not having that orientation.